So if we stick with the Bible, you'll never get lost. But if we start jumping on philosophy and human tradition and sociology, you cleave to darkness without knowing. So this young guy was able to discern the ministry of Jesus, the emphasis of his ministry, and he brought a question that was consistent with the burden that Jesus has been conveying through his messages. Good master, what must I do to inherit the kingdom of heaven? That's the best question in all the questions Jesus was asked. And Jesus, because the guy used the word good, forgot about the question and then began to attend to the use of the word good. Do you understand that? So it means that for God, the word good must be understood. So this scripture is saying, behold how good. And I'm burdened to unveil to us that the meaning of good here is different from what you call good. You there? Yes. So Jesus said, there is none good but God. Don't call me good if you don't acknowledge that I am God. That's what Jesus was saying. I'm not God because I'm good, but I'm good because I'm God. Are you there? Don't call me good if you don't acknowledge that I'm God. My goodness derives from my godness, because there are dimensions of good that are dissociated from God. You will notice that in the Garden of Eden, there was a tree of knowledge of good and evil. That good in that tree was not from God. Don't call me good if you don't acknowledge that I am God. You have something you call good, and if there's no God in it, if it's not God that produces it, it doesn't qualify to be good from God's perspective. Do you understand what I'm talking about? So our generation has a definition for good. Our generation has a reason for which a mother can be justified to commit an abortion. And it's good in the eyes of the law. But you see, once that good does not derive from God, it is relative. It's not a constant. It can change tomorrow. It can change next tomorrow. It's not a constant. And if you follow that good, you will not get to God, because it did not come from God. Don't call me good if you do not acknowledge that I am God. All my goodness comes out of my godness. So if you hang on to my goodness and trace my goodness, it will come back to me. But if you hang on your own definition of goodness and you trace it, if it doesn't come from God, it will lead you somewhere else. And what it will lead you to is not good, but it is death. You know, that tree, it's called the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. It's just a polite way of saying death. That's a polite way. So the devil knows how to paint good. Such good that is not God. He knows how to paint it with so many bright colors. And if you notice the analysis that Eve did before she ate of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you will notice she saw that it was good for food. So there was an attraction. It was not black with horns. It didn't have thistles upon it. There was an attraction. It was good for food. It was pleasant to the eyes. It was such as should be desired to make one wise. Those are good things. But there was no God in that decision. So it will always lead to death. Don't call me good, Jesus said, if you do not acknowledge that I am God.